Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. Let's talk about Brooke and Ridge for a minute. So, they seem like they're making up a little bit. They even talk about taking a drive just to kind of get away for a little bit. You know, with the whole Deacon situation, it's like, let's just go somewhere. And Ridge is like, listen, I gotta, let Steffi and Thomas know, before we just head off. And he mentions that Taylor's back. And oof. Oh my goodness, this woman looks so unhappy just hearing that she's back. Apparently they have this sordid history with each other. She's acting surprised. I feel like, oh, she's here. That's great. That's nice, and that's good. So, how long is she staying for? I'm like, I'm sorry, what? How long is she staying for? Yo, this chick just got here like about 2 days ago. How long is she staying here for? When somebody asks how long is that person staying for, you already know how they feel about them. Red's like, I don't know. I don't know. We missed her and stuff like that, and the kids are happy that she's back and stuff like that. And, Brooke is like, yeah, but, what made her come back now, Ridge is answering these questions, and it gets to a point where it's like, so, I think Ridge was like, hopefully she'll stay for good, and Brooke is like, stay for good? For good? Why would you even say that sentence for? Stay for good? And so clearly at this point, Ridge is like, so do you have a problem with Taylor being here? Like, what's going on? And she tries to play it off like, oh, I don't really have a problem or anything like that. I was like, no, sweetheart, you definitely have a problem. And then Brooke brings up Deacon, and I'm like, okay. Why'd you do that for? So they get into this whole argument, and it's funny because halfway through, Brooke is like, well, I'm not trying to argue or anything like that about. It's like, you're not trying to argue. Famous last words, but okay, sure, keep going. And Ridge gets upset because Ridge is like, you're trying to compare. He feels that she's trying to compare Taylor and Deacon, and he's like, no, you can't do that. And once again, Ridge starts bad-mouthing Deacon. Just going on and on and on, the usual stuff. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really help Brooke's case or Deacon's case when he just walked on in the house. Okay? Yeah, I get it, he knocked, but he just walked on in the house. And this is something that Ridge was sitting there saying, like, I don't want him just walking in, acting like he owns the place. And he sees Deacon just walks in his house. And he's all like, oh, you ready for some more karate lessons? And Deacon's like, karate lessons? What was that about? And, Brooke is all like, oh, well, like, I saw hope in him, teaching Hope how to do it. And, I jokingly came over there and started doing. And, Rich is like, oh, so y'all joking with each other now, right? So you just gonna have this man just walk up in my house, just joking around with my wife, and I'm supposed to just sit there and just, I'm supposed to be fine with all that. And he calls Deacon out. He's like, yo, you want my wife, don't you? I mean, you're already just walking up to my house like you own the place. So you want my wife? I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Deacon. Come on, bro. You don't just walk in anyone's place like that. I don't give a damn if they say you can come anytime you want. No. Then you got Finn, Steffi, and Taylor. They're just kind of catching up. And, they talk about Jack, they talk about Sheila. I honestly tell you the truth, I felt like Finn wasn't even needed in this episode. at all. Because he left shortly after, and you got Taylor, catching up with Steffi. And Steffi just goes in on Brooke, being like, oh, it's all Steffi. It's all Brooke's fault. I know that Hope wants a relationship with her dad, but, she's just allowing it. She's just like, open arms about it. And I'm like, you have the same problem that Rich has. Now, yesterday, I did sit there and say, because I was reading the comments and stuff like that earlier throughout the last couple of days or whatever. And, somebody was like, why don't Hope just leave? And this way she can sit there and see Deacon as much as she wants. And it doesn't, put Ridge in an uncomfortable position. But it's one of those things where it's like, Stephanie made it seem like Brooke should just sit there and say no to them having a relationship. And I'm like, that's just not how that works. Like, but of course, she's, she loves her dad and she's going to sit there and stick up for him. And she feels that, this whole chaos and everything like that, Deacon and, Brooke being Brooke is just putting a strain on the relationship, and it's not fair to, it's not fair to Ridge. And to some extent, I kind of agree, at least with that part, as far as, like, him being there. But she seems like she's been bad-mouthing, Brooke for the last couple of days, leading up to Taylor actually being there. So I feel like it's only going to be a matter of time before Steffi decides she wants to play matchmaker, or it's going to rent for some movie. The Parent Trap, apparently. She's going to do something to try to get, Ridge back with Taylor. Because, well, she clearly does not like Brooke. And when I say she clearly doesn't like Brooke, I get it, because I'm going to be honest, when I saw a couple of her scenes when I first started watching, I was like, wow. Brooke is, she's something else. Now, before Deacon just walked on in Rich's place, or, their place, just walked in like he owned the place, he was sitting there working, sweeping and stuff or whatever at his job. And Sheila comes over, and Sheila's all like, oh, I don't know why you're doing this. Why don't you just stay with me? And I'm like, Sheila, will you please stop throwing yourself at this man? Because it's just beyond pathetic. Now this is just getting annoying. And I feel like throughout this episode, it's like she's playing, you ever saw one of those images, like you have the good angel and the bad angel, the devil, whatever. I feel like that's exactly what she's trying to do. It's like she's sitting there trying to be like the devil in a way. Just giving them a bunch of bad ideas. And Deacon's like, I'm trying to turn my life back around. I don't want to sit there and be doing like cons or stealing and this, that, and the third. And she was like, oh, you're just surviving. Sheila, you are so not helping this man right now. You really are not. But a couple of times she, talks about Brooke like, oh, you're not just, you don't want just a relationship with your daughter. You want a relationship with Brooke. This, that, and the third. I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, I'm like, why does this man have to sit there and justify his actions to you as far as whatever his intentions with Brooke is? Like, why do you feel like he needs to, like, tell you any of that? A little kind of late in the game, but he does sit there and says he feels sorry for Sheila. But at the same time, he's like, oh, I feel bad for you. I just can't sit there and really help you out. I don't want to get mixed up in your world. And, I'm trying to, be on the straight and path, straight and narrow, whatever, for my daughter. And once again, Sheila's like, oh, you're also something that they're trying to do it for Brooke. Okay, what if he is trying to do it for Brooke? Like, why does that bother you so much? I'm like, yo, listen, if you want to sit there and be with him, why don't you say something? Like, be real. Stop sitting there trying to throw yourself at him. Maybe he may actually take you a little bit seriously if you're not every 5 minutes trying to get him in bed. Just a thought. I think that's about it for the most part. But before I go, I do want to sit this. Well, first I want to say thank you everyone for watching. It's been pretty crazy in a good way as far as, you know, how many more people are sitting there watching. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Also, I want to thank everyone in the comment section for correcting me on the whole Hope and Douglas thing, you know, as far as giving me info and stuff. So I really do appreciate that, because I was sitting there walking in there yesterday like, well, Hope is Douglas' mother too. I don't understand what Taylor got a problem. And I read the comments and I was like, oh, wow. So there's that. But I mean, even still, even though that's not technically his bio mom, you know, and the Logans aren't technically their, you know, like biologically family as far as blood related, they still love him nonetheless. And for Taylor to sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, he's not a Logan, he's a Forrester. Like, okay, well, why does that matter so much? I get it to some extent as far as like she feels that Thomas should be spending more time with his son, and that's fine. But don't sit there and try to negate everything that the Logans had done for Douglas, just being there and loving and supporting him as well. Like, that's not cool either. Anyway, with that being said, I think that's about it. If I forgot anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.